All right, good afternoon. Welcome back, folks. We are ready to do our arraignment calendar. I'm going to let everybody get in and we'll get started. All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is the arraignment calendar. I'm Judge Eric Richardson. I will be presiding over the arraignment calendar this afternoon and also over all future proceedings, if any, of your case. We are proceeding by Zoom today and we have a lot of people connected, so I'm going to ask everyone in advance to please mute your devices so that we can minimize background noise and other distractions. When it is your turn to speak, just go ahead and unmute your device and make sure your video is turned on so I can see you. We have several other people on the Zoom call today. We have court personnel, including my case manager, Ms. Daniels. We have the state's attorneys who prosecute these cases. We also have the public defenders who can be appointed to represent you if you wish to have an attorney, cannot afford to hire one, and qualify for their services. Those of you who've received a notice to appear today have been charged with a misdemeanor. Generally, misdemeanors in Georgia carry a penalty of not more than 12 months in jail and not more than a $1,000 fine. The arraignment calendar is the stage of the proceedings where you will be asked to make some important decisions about your case. Before we begin this process, I need to inform you that each of you has certain important rights that I want you to remember. First and most important, you are presumed innocent, and you are innocent in this court until you plead guilty or you go to trial, and upon hearing proper evidence, the finder of fact finds you guilty. You have a right to a trial by jury. At a trial, the state would have to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have legal counsel present with you at all stages of the proceedings. If you cannot afford to hire an attorney and you qualify, I will appoint an attorney to represent you. In a few moments, I will call the calendar. When I call your name, first we will hear from the state regarding the status of your case. Then I will turn to you and ask you how you would like to proceed with your case. You'll have three choices. First choice is to ask for a public defender. Second choice is to plead not guilty. Third choice is to plead guilty or no contest. Now I'm going to explain each of those choices to you in a little bit more detail. First choice, if you ask for a public defender, you'll need to fill out an application that will be provided to you. And if you qualify for the services of a public defender, the public defender will represent you before the court and conduct any negotiations on your behalf with the state regarding the charges. If you ask for a public defender, I'm going to ask you to provide your name, email address, and telephone number in the chat box. And the public defender assigned to your case will send you an application. You must fill out the application and you must return it to the public defender, and you must qualify before counsel can be appointed. Some folks get on during our arraignment and say they want a public defender, but then never follow through and complete the application. Either they didn't get it, or they didn't fill it out, or they had some trouble getting it back to the public defender. You have to get it back to the public defender either through email or through their office in order to have an attorney. So that's your option one, public defender. Option two, plead not guilty. Plead not guilty, that means you dispute the charges. If you plead not guilty, I'm going to ask you whether you wish to represent yourself whether you wish to hire a private attorney, or again, if you haven't already said so, whether you want to qualify for a public defender. You have the right to represent yourself. You have the right to have an attorney of your choosing. If you plead not guilty, the case will be reset to a future date for a pretrial status conference to make sure that you've got all the information from the state and that the state has communicated an offer to you to resolve the case. Before that status conference, you'll have the opportunity, if you wish to speak with the solicitor about your case and see what sentence options he or she will recommend if you tender some type of guilty plea. You may also, in some instances, be able to convince the solicitor to dismiss the charges if you agree to some type of pretrial intervention. But please understand that if you decide to speak with the solicitor and you represent yourself, nothing you say is privileged. That means anything you say can be used against you at a later trial if you're unable to reach an agreement with the solicitor about your case. That's what happens if you plead not guilty. Third choice is to plead guilty or no contest. If you plead guilty, that means you admit the charges. If you plead nolo, that means you desire not to dispute the charges, even though you don't admit them. In either case, we will schedule another hearing in the near future where I can take your plea. In most cases, we're taking plea by Zoom, but we're also able to take a plea in person if that's what you need to do. If you desire to plead not guilty or no contest, we'll get your contact information today, and the solicitor in charge of your case will send you paperwork that needs to be filled out. Very simple paperwork to review and sign. So again, your choices: public defender, not guilty, guilty, or nolo. I'm going to start calling the names now. Position 1, Antoine McCant. Antoine McCant. No response. Position 2, Stephanie Dunn. Stephanie Dunn. No response. Position 3, Aaron Bethea. Aaron Bethea. No response. Position 4, Quintavia Sims.
Here.
All right, Mr. Sims. Can you turn your camera on for me?
Huh? Hello?
Sims.
Yes, sir. Did you call Stephanie Dunn?
I did. Hold on for a moment, Ms. Dunn. We'll come back to you.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I just know it went into mute, and I don't know what's going on with the Zoom thing, but I can't see nothing.
I muted you because we have a lot of background noise that's interfering with other things.
I'm leaving, yeah.
I'm going to mute you again.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir. That's fine.
All right, Mr. Sims, let's hear from the solicitor about your case.
Yes, Your Honor, this is case 20 CR 005106F. The defendant was charged with carrying concealed weapon with an incident date of October 9th, 2020. Discovery was filed on June 3rd, 2021. I've had no contact with the defendant.
All right, Mr. Sims, how would you like to proceed with your case?
Not guilty.
I'm sorry?
Not guilty.
Not guilty. All right.
Guilty for that bullshit. Shit petty as hell.
Are you intending to represent yourself, hire a private attorney, or you want to see if you qualify for a public defender?
Say it again.
So are you want to represent yourself? You want to hire
Yes.
a private or you want to see if you qualify for a public defender?
Represent myself.
All right. Mr. Sims, this case is going to be reset to a status calendar. Can we get you to put your email address
In the chat?
in chat so that the
Yes.
solicitor can contact you with potential offer to try and resolve the case?
Mr. Sims, can you also provide your phone number as well? Thank you.
In the chat?
Yes, please. They can send you what discovery they have and see if there's a basis to resolve it before trial.
I just did it.
All right, we have your information. So Mr. Sims, you'll probably hear something from the state not too long after this call today. You can feel free to reach out to the solicitor if you wish to. Her name is Stephanie Dufford, and her contact information is in the chat box if you want to. Do you have any questions for me before we let you go?
No, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sims. You are
Sure.
free to go. All right, let's go back to Ms. Dunn. And I do not, it appears to have dropped off. All right, let's go ahead to position 5. Deloan Almanzar. Almanzar. No response.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello? Hello?
Who is speaking?
This is Miss Dunn.
All right, Ms. Dunn, have you been able to hear what we've been saying up to now?
Yeah.
But they're in the waiting room. All right. Let's go to position 6, Shalons Mivens.
Yes, that's me. I would like to get a public defender.
All right. All right, Ms. Mivens, if you would please put your name, email address, and telephone number in the chat box.
Okay.
While you're doing that, I'm going to go on to the next case and we'll come back to you. Position 7, Dasani Henry. Sani Henry. No response.
Arraignment waived.
Position 8, Ramon Albaran.
Your Honor, Mr. Albaran reached out to my office and I qualified him for the public defender's office earlier today. At this time, I would plead not guilty and waive arraignment.
All right, very good.
And I do have his contact info and everything.
All right, position 9, Ayanna Williams. Ayanna Williams. No response. Position 10, Darius Devereaux.
Your Honor, this defendant is currently in the Fulton County Jail. He also has another case in your courtroom, case number 18 CR 008-406F. And the state did file a motion to revoke bond on that 18 CR case.
All right, we'll have to get that one on the calendar. And that arraignment will be reset.
Thank you.
Position 11, Howard Herndon. Sir. Let's go back. Nivens, we've got your,
Sorry, I sent my email and name in multiple messages.
we've got your contact information in chat. The public defender who is responsible for your case is David Howell.
Okay.
So you should get a communication from him with and attaching the public defender application. He has also put his contact information into the chat box if you want to reach out to Mr. Howell directly.
Okay.
From this point forward, just make sure you stay in contact with Mr. Howell. He'll advise you as to what the next step is.
Great. Thank you so much.
Do you have any questions before we let you go?
That is it. I'll just ask my public defender. Thank you.
All right.
Have a good day.
Next, I believe, is position 12, Ali Powell. Powell. No response. Position 13, Winfred Harris. Winfred Harris, I see the name. I don't see a face and it's muted. All right, we'll come back to Winfred Harris and see if we get a response. Position 14. Quasi
I'm here, sir, Honor.
All right. Swindle, let's hear from the state regarding your charges.
Yes, Your Honor. This is case number 20 CR 005-221F. The defendant is charged with criminal trespass and damage to property with an offense date of January 4th, 2020. Discovery was filed June 1st, 2021, and I haven't had any contact with the defendant.
Swindle, are you able to hear me? Looks like you've locked up. Your screen is locked up on us. I think we've lost. We're in the waiting room. We'll come back. All right, next is position 15, Quintavious Wilburn.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
All right, good afternoon, sir. Let's hear from the state regarding your case.
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Wilburn has two cases. This case is 20 CR 005-238F. He was charged with battery family violence, cruelty to children in the third degree, and simple battery family violence with an incident date of August 29th, 2020. And discovery was filed on June 3rd, 2021. I have not had any contact with Mr. Wilburn.
All right, and on that charge, Mr. Wilburn, what do you want to do with your case?
Well, we talked with someone yesterday, me and my wife,
She told them she wanted to drop the charges. Nobody called me. I didn't even know I had a court date. So luckily, my wife told me I had a court date yesterday. That's the only reason why I'm here today. But I do want to plead NOLO right now because I'm not guilty, but I do want to plead NOLO. I don't want to dispute these charges.
All right, so Mr. Wilburn, we need to get your contact information in the chat, your email address and telephone number so that the solicitor can send you a couple of pieces of paperwork that you'll need to read and sign.
Yes, sir.
Get that back to the solicitor and we'll set a date to take your plea over Zoom.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes.
And Your Honor, did you want me to go over his second case?
Yes.
Mr. Wilburn, Quantavious Wilburn, has a second case, case number 20 CR 005-239F. The defendant is charged with obstruction of law enforcement officer and seatbelt violation with an offense date of October 20th, 2020. Discovery was filed June 1st, 2021, and I haven't had any contact with the defendant.
All right, Mr. Wilburn. Now, what do you want to do about that case?
No, not guilty.
Not guilty. All right, you're going to represent yourself or do you want counsel?
I'm gonna represent myself.
All right. So you've got, I think the solicitor in charge of that case, Ms. Salette, she has your contact information. So so look out for an email. You may receive an email with the information they have about your case and an offer to resolve it.
Yes, sir.
Judge, I have a question for the solicitors on this case. Normally, the lower case is a solicitor that handles both cases. So are we separating that?
They can be handled together. I think just for the purposes of this calendar, we handled it separately.
But both will be before Ms. Dufford.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
And I will reach out. I've got your contact information, Mr. Wilburn, and I'll reach out to you in anticipation of resolving both cases. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, so Mr. Wilburn, if you want to reach out to Ms. Dufford on your own, her email address is in the chat box. Otherwise, the next time we see each other will be for the plea on the one case, and the other case will set a pretrial status conference. So we can talk about how we're going to resolve the case.
Yes, sir.
You have any other questions before we let you go?
No, sir, I don't.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wilburn. You're free to go.
All right.
All right, position 17, Desmond Allen. Desmond Allen. No response. Position 18, Tyree Lewis.
Agreement waived.
Thank you. Position 19, Willie Shirley.
Judge, I spoke with Mr. Shirley this morning. He qualifies for the public defender's office and I'll be representing him. I would waive arraignment and plead not guilty at this time.
All right. Position 20, Trenisha Taylor. Trenisha Taylor. No response. Position 21, Kenneth Randall. Kenneth Randall. No response. Position 22, Eric Burnett. Eric Burnett. No response. Position 23, Demetrius Tillman. Demetrius Tillman. No response. Position 24, Rolando Gonzalez Salazar. Gonzalez Salazar. No response. Position 25, Dante Jackson Boyd. No response. 26, Beatrice DeWater.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Devin Horowitz. I'm counsel representing Ms. DeWater, and she's present as well.
See her there? All right, and what is your announcement?
Announcing not guilty.
And at least as of the time of the calendar, I don't believe you had entered an appearance. Have you entered an appearance?
Yes, Your Honor, this morning.
All right, very good. Make sure that your information. So the solicitor that'll be handling your case is Courtney Gillette. If you'd like to reach out to her and have communication with her, her contact information is in the chat.
Your Honor, we have already begun having communication with each other. Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Horowitz and Ms. DeWater, the case will be reset to a pretrial status conference. Make sure that everything is on track for the trial in terms of discovery and motions. In the meantime, if you're able to resolve it, just get in touch with Ms. Daniels and we'll set it down for a plea.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Horowitz and Ms. DeWater. Y'all are free to go. All right, position 27, Rondrell Vaughns.
Here, present.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Vaughns. Let's hear from the state regarding your charge.
Yes, Your Honor, this is case number 20 CR 005-345F. The defendant is charged with battery family violence misdemeanor with an offense date of October 30th, 2020. Discovery was filed June 1st, 2021, and I haven't had any contact with the defendant.
All right, Mr. Vaughns, how do you want to proceed with your case?
Not guilty.
All right, you have the option to represent yourself or hire counsel or see if you want counsel appointed.
Public defender.
Public defender. So, Mr. Vaughns, if you would put your in the chat box, put your email address and telephone number. Attorney Emily Bronstein will send you an application. Her
Yes, sir.
information is also in the chat box.
Okay.
All right. I think you might be missing a digit on your phone number there. There we go. All right.
All right.
All right. So Mr. Vaughns, Ms. Bronstein's contact information is in the chat. She's got your information and will send you an application. Please make sure that application gets returned promptly and stay in contact with Ms. Bronstein about what the next step is on your case.
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you have any other questions before we let you go?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you. You're free to go.
All right, thank you.
Position 28, Frederick Gladney. Frederick Gladney. No response. Position 29, Kamiko Burns.
Arraignment waived.
Position 30, Xavier Marion.
Arraignment waived.
Do we have anybody on who's a defendant and did not hear your name called? All right, I'm gonna try and see if we can, I've got 3 in the waiting room. We're gonna see if we can make any of them work. I'm gonna do them one at a time. See if we can get folks to connect.
This guy's, they're trying to get on, his mom's trying to help him get on.
Okay.
It's called.
Position 8 will be connecting shortly.
Position 8, Ramon, I already waived his.
Okay, he called our office and him and his mom are trying to get on.
I can email her and let her know that's not necessary. I told them earlier, but they might not have understood.
Or do we have anybody on who has not heard your name called? You're a defendant and not heard your name called. I think I have someone trying to connect to Ms. Swindle. See if we can get Ms. Swindle connected. I also have showing on my screen Stars Galaxy A11. Who is that? Cannot hear that either. All right, Ms. Swindle, it looks like you're connected, but your device is muted. Need you to unmute your device. All right, still got technical issues. Give it another minute or two. We're gonna have to reset them. Still not hearing anything from Stars Galaxy A11. All right, last chance, Ms. Swindle. Can you unmute your device for me? Can you hear me? I think that's all we can accomplish today. There's no further business. I'll let everybody be excused.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, everyone.
Judge, my apologies. I thought my calendar was 1:30 and 2:30. My sincere apologies. I was sitting here working. I didn't look at the calendar I printed. Sorry.
Back at 2.
Back at 2:30. Got it.
Judge, I do have a question for the solicitors and the public defenders, if they're still on. I think you can release everyone else. It's in reference to this motion to revoke from today's calendar.
Go ahead, Ms. Daniels.
Okay. Judge, the defendant is in jail, so the case that's on today's calendar will be reset to the state all purpose. Now, I know they have filed a motion to revoke bond on an earlier case with the defendant being in jail. How does your honor want to handle the motion to revoke since this defendant is in jail? And I'm not sure if you're handling jail cases right now. Should this go to the jail judge to process for the motion to revoke bond? Or you need a minute or so to kind of think about it and.
Let me think about it.
Okay.
I think they're bringing people over in limited numbers. So perhaps with enough advance notice, we can get the defendant here for that hearing.
And Ms. Daniels, do you have a date for that jail calendar?
No, I just send it over to the clerk's office and they put him on the next available jail calendar. And then that way, if it, whenever they set bond or whatever is gonna come back to me, if the public defender wants it to be reset jail jury, it'll come back to me.
Got you. I don't know if it's possible or not, but if you could let me know when that case is put on a jail calendar, it's possible that we could resolve his misdemeanor cases at that jail calendar, but I just need to know when he would be on the calendar so I can communicate with that.
Unfortunately, Courtney, I wouldn't be able to tell you. You would have to communicate with Michael Nim or just check his case number. I think it will probably be in the next, I'm not sure when are these on Thursdays? I know, I think 2 days